You are not forgotten. No matter how many nights you've laid awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering, am I still remembered? No matter how many whispered prayers seem to vanish into silence, right now, in a realm deeper than your emotions, a voice is echoing through the heavens. Your name is still being spoken. There were moments when you felt invisible, like a shadow passing through people's lives, smiling on the outside while screaming inside. But stop for a moment. Listen closely. There's something you didn't realize. Your name has been written on the palm of the one who formed the universe. Not in ink, but in everlasting love. Not to be erased, but to be forever remembered. Do you remember the last time you cried quietly with no one around? When your heart was breaking and you felt like you had no reason left to keep going? In that very moment, you were not alone. There was a presence next to you, not seen, but deeply real, not loud, but constantly whispering, I see you. I'm here. The world may have turned away. People may have forgotten while they rush forward. But in the divine realm, you are irreplaceable. You are seen, you are known, you are loved. Not because you're strong, but because you chose to stay when everything in you wanted to give up. And here is the truth that makes heaven pause to listen. You have never been left behind. Silence was never abandonment. It was the stillness before the breakthrough. When you thought your prayers had disappeared, they were actually being stored like clouds, ready to pour, not just drops, but a torrential rain of healing, restoration, and promise. You once believed silence meant the story had ended. You watched doors slam shut in front of you and thought, maybe God changed his mind. Maybe that dream was never meant for me. But here's the truth. Delay is not denial. And if you'd pause just for a moment, you'd realize something so precise, so divine, is being prepared behind the scenes that heaven itself is holding its breath for the perfect timing. You thought your prayers fell into a void? Number. They flew straight into the sacred space of the unseen, where nothing is dismissed, only divinely timed. You've given everything. You've sown in faith, in tears, in silence. And yet you've asked, why haven't I seen fruit? What you didn't know is that while it felt like nothing was happening, God was laying foundations. And great structures always require deep roots before they rise. Don't mistake delay for failure. Sometimes doors are closed not because you're not worthy, but because you're worthy of so much more. There were paths you wanted to take, ones you begged for, but God knew they would only lead to heartache. So he kept silent, not out of apathy, but out of a love so fierce he would rather let you be angry than watch you be destroyed. And yes, you've watched others walk into the very spaces you dreamed of. You've seen them lifted, chosen, celebrated. You've asked, what about me? What you couldn't see was that you weren't being forgotten. You were being refined. Every closed door was not rejection. It was preparation. You haven't missed your moment. You've been preserved for it. You are not falling behind. You are being entrusted with something greater. You're being built for a weight of glory that won't crush you when it arrives. Because the breakthrough that's coming isn't just about receiving, it's about carrying it well. What you're praying for isn't just a blessing, it's a mantle, a mission, a calling. And God is not just preparing the gift for you, He's preparing you for the gift. You are not waiting for something to happen. What's been promised is waiting for you to become the one who can hold it. Delay is not the end. It's the sacred pause before the crescendo, the hush before the sound of destiny breaks open. And you, dear one, you are so close. So don't confuse silence with absence. Don't call the wait meaningless. Call it what it truly is, the holy ground where God is writing the part of your story that will echo into eternity. No, you were never denied. You were being positioned for something so big, so beautiful, that it required heaven's timing to bring it to pass. You are closer to breakthrough than you think. You may not feel it. The skies still look gray. The doors remain shut, and the prayers you've whispered for nights on end still seem unanswered. But pause and listen closely. Deep within you, something is shifting, a trembling, a stir, a heartbeat that's growing louder in the silence. That's not your imagination. That's a sign. You thought breakthrough would come with fanfare and flashes of light. But no, it arrives like a breath, quiet but real, like the breeze that stirs the doors before they swing open. And whether you know it or not, you can feel it. You may be tired, so very tired. It may seem like you're walking in circles. But what you don't see is this. You've already traveled the longest part of the road. You're not where you started. You're standing on the edge. So close that one more breath and everything changes. Don't let your feelings mislead you. Don't let your circumstances silence your faith. Because often the moment you want to give up the most is the moment you're about to win. You still see barren ground? Beneath the surface, the roots have taken hold. The sky hasn't changed yet, but in the atmosphere, pressure is building. The breakthrough isn't about to come, it's already in motion. There are things happening in the spiritual realm your eyes haven't yet seen. Angels have been dispatched. Assignments are being fulfilled. Doors you thought were rusted shut are already unlocking. You don't see it, but that doesn't mean it's not real. You don't need to see it to believe. You need to believe so you can see it. How close are you? Closer than your next heartbeat. Closer than your last whispered prayer. So close that even your recent despair is reacting to the pressure of what's about to emerge. God doesn't operate on your emotions. He moves on his perfect plan. And by that plan, your breakthrough has never been canceled. It's being completed, step by step, detail by detail, opportunity by opportunity, aligning perfectly with what you once cried out for. Get ready. Take a deep breath. Lift your head. Open your heart. Because what you've been waiting for is no longer just a hope. It's on its way, swiftly, certainly, powerfully, and it's coming straight for you. So don't retreat. Don't numb your expectation to protect yourself from disappointment. You are not on the edge of failure. You are on the verge of fulfillment. This is not wishful thinking. This is not a vague encouragement. This is the truth pulsing through the atmosphere right now. You are closer than you think, and breakthrough is not coming someday. You once asked, why does it hurt so much? The tears that no one saw, the ache you couldn't explain, the nights you stared into darkness, waiting for a whisper, for a reason. You've carried wounds that went unnoticed, pain that lived beneath smiles, and in your quiet despair, you've wondered if it was all for nothing. But hear this clearly now. Not one moment of your pain has been wasted. Every tear you've cried has been collected. Every breathless prayer, every silent scream, every "Why God?" they've all been heard, not forgotten, not ignored, preserved, honored, used. You didn't just survive the storm, you were being shaped in it. While you thought you were breaking, something deeper was forming. Strength, compassion, authority. Not the kind the world gives, but the kind that's earned through fire. The kind that cannot be faked. Your pain has not disqualified you. It has qualified you. You thought your scars made you less, but they've made you real. They're the evidence that you fought battles no one saw and chose not to quit. Your survival isn't weakness. It's proof of divine strength flowing through human fragility. You see, healing doesn't always come by avoiding pain. It comes when you let the pain teach you, open you, transform you. And you've done just that. You've allowed suffering to dig deep so that joy could be rooted even deeper. You thought the silence meant he was absent, but he was there, in the breaking, in the stillness, in the wait. He was holding you together when you thought you'd fall apart. He wept with you, and even now, he is redeeming what you never thought could be restored. What once wounded you will become the place you speak from, not as a victim, but as a vessel, not as one still bleeding, but as one who had been anointed in the places that once hurt the most. Yes, the journey has been long. Yes, it's been lonely at times, but you've learned how to endure without growing bitter, how to cry without losing hope, how to bleed without losing your voice. That is sacred. That is strength. That is what sets you apart. Pain does not define you, but it has refined you. You are not here in spite of your pain. You are here because you walk through it and let it change you, not harden you. The empathy you carry now, it was born in those valleys. The wisdom you speak with now, forged in your wilderness. So no, your suffering has not been meaningless. It has been the soil where resilience grew, the altar where mercy was poured, the place where you were made, not broken. This pain you carried, it's part of your purpose, and soon you'll see it. What once crushed you will become the very thing that draws others to healing. And in that moment, you'll whisper to yourself, none of it was wasted. Every tear built the road to glory. You thought you were barely surviving, but you've been in preparation all along, quietly, patiently, purposefully. While you've been doing your best just to make it through the day, something sacred has been unfolding within you. A divine blueprint being drawn, line by line in the depths of your soul. You're not off track. You're not lost. You are being shaped into someone who can carry what's coming without it breaking you. The breakthrough you've prayed for isn't just a blessing to receive. It's a responsibility to steward. And for that, you must be strong from the inside out. There are lessons you've only learned through silence, strengths you didn't even know you had until everything else fell away. In what looked like stillness, you've been expanding, not shrinking, not stalled, being enlarged, not just for favor, but for purpose. You've asked, why is this taking so long? Why am I going through so much? But perhaps the better question is, what is so extraordinary about what's coming that I needed this much refining to hold it? You haven't been delayed because of weakness. You've been held back because of value. You are being equipped for something weighty, something that would have crushed you if it had come too soon. You are not just being prepared to receive, you are being prepared to remain. You are being built with the kind of strength that doesn't rise and fall with praise, the kind of clarity that doesn't shift with approval, the kind of humility that doesn't crack under success. This is not punishment. This is protection. God didn't say no. He said, not yet. Because when it comes, I want you to thrive, not collapse under the weight of answered prayer. You are becoming the kind of person who will carry the promise with integrity, who will not be swayed by spotlight or shaken by adversity, Who will love deeply, speak truthfully, lead fearlessly, and remain grounded? And you need to know this. You're further along than you think. You've grown in silence. You've matured in waiting. You've expanded in hiddenness. And all of it has been seen, recorded, celebrated in heaven. So don't despise the season. Don't curse the preparation, because this is what greatness looks like before it's revealed. This is the sacred process before the unveiling. And when the time comes, and it will come, you won't just step into a moment. You'll step into alignment. You won't just receive something new. You'll recognize it. You'll be ready for it because you were shaped for it in fire. This is not just about your breakthrough. It's about who you're becoming because of it. Greater is coming. But first, God is making you greater. How many times have you looked around and whispered, "Am I falling behind?" You watched others succeed, and you celebrated them sincerely. But deep down, a quiet ache pulsed through your chest. You wondered if your delay meant disqualification. You asked God in the silence, "Did you forget me?" Let this be your answer. No, he did not. Comparison has lied to you. It has whispered that your pace is too slow, that your progress is too small, that you should be further along by now. But comparison never sees the full picture. It only sees highlights, not the hidden work God is doing in your soul. You were never created to match someone else's timeline. Your path is sacred. Your process is unique. Your purpose is not late, it's right on time. While others were walking into their promises, God was still building your foundation. While you were wondering why it hadn't happened yet, he was preparing something that wouldn't just bless you, it would last. Comparison can't measure that kind of depth. And fear, oh, how it's tried to keep you small. It shows up in the quiet, creeping in when you least expect it. Don't hope too much, it says. Don't take that step. You'll only be disappointed. And slowly fear wraps around your dreams like chains around a door you were meant to walk through. But hear this. Fear is not your inheritance. You were not born to live braced for the worst. You were created to walk in power, love, and a sound mind. And even when fear speaks loud, you don't have to obey. Even when it knocks, you don't have to open. You get to choose. You don't need to have it all together to be bold. You don't need to wait until you're unshakably confident to move forward. Courage is not the absence of trembling. It's the decision to trust God while you tremble. You no longer need to measure your worth by the pace of others or the volume of your doubts. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are not broken. You are chosen, called, covered, becoming. The days of shrinking are over. The season of dimming your light to fit into someone else's timeline has ended. You have permission to rise, not arrogantly, but securely, to dream again, not recklessly, but rooted in truth. Let comparison fall silent. Let fear lose its grip. Because now you know, you are not who the lie said you were. You are who God says you are. And when you walk forward from here, you'll walk not to prove your worth, but because you finally believe it. Comparison can no longer steal your joy. Fear can no longer direct your future. You've been set free, and your steps will show it. Healing isn't always sudden. Sometimes it doesn't arrive with a dramatic shift or a miraculous sign. It comes softly, like rain soaking into hardened ground, slowly, silently, faithfully. You've waited for the moment you'd wake up and feel whole again. You thought healing would mean forgetting the pain, erasing the past, and smiling without effort. But it hasn't looked like that, has it? Because healing isn't forgetting. It's transforming. It's the sacred process of allowing what once broke you to become what now builds you. It's learning how to breathe again, even while your chest still aches. It's choosing softness where you once chose silence, choosing openness where you once shut down. There were wounds you carried for so long, they began to feel like a part of you. But God never called you broken. He never labeled you by what hurt you. He never defined you by what others did or by what you didn't do. He sees beyond the scar, into the soul, and what he sees is worthy of healing. You may still feel pain at times. Memories may still sting. There are places in your heart that you've buried under years of survival. But God is patient. He is not asking you to rush. He is not waiting for you to be over it before he draws near. He is healing you as you are, not after the process, through it. And sometimes healing looks like sitting in the stillness and letting him hold the parts of you that still tremble, letting him breathe into your numbness, letting him walk into the rooms you locked long ago, not to expose your shame, but to release it. He doesn't shame your pace. He honors your courage. Even the smallest step toward wholeness, he celebrates. Even when you whisper, "Help me," instead of "Heal me now," he responds with tenderness. The tears you cry today are not weakness. They are waters softening soil for new life. He's not just healing your memories. He's restoring the trust you lost. First, trust in him, then trust in others, and perhaps most importantly, trust in yourself again. That voice inside you, the one that stopped dreaming, that's the one he's calling back to life. You are not behind. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being made whole, layer by layer, moment by moment. And one day soon, you'll look back and realize the sting is gone. The grief no longer paralyzes. What once triggered panic now passes like a breeze. That is healing. Not perfection, but peace. Not erasure, but redemption. You are healing, not all at once, but truly. And that healing will not just restore you, it will ripple through generations. Because when you heal, the cycle breaks. And when the cycle breaks, the future begins. You have changed. Even if you haven't fully noticed it, even if every day still feels like the same fight to keep going, you are no longer who you once were. You no longer react the same way to pain. The words that once shattered you now simply echo and fade. The wounds that used to reopen with a glance or a silence now whisper, but they no longer scream. You've wondered if you're still weak, but weakness doesn't look like continuing through heartbreak. Strength does. True strength is getting up when nothing makes sense and still choosing love, still choosing faith, still choosing breath. You used to measure your worth by how others saw you. Now, even if it still stings, you no longer beg for validation. You look in the mirror, not for perfection, but for presence. And when you say, "I'm still here," you say it with quiet pride, because you are. And that matters. You've changed, not because life finally got easier, but because you stopped giving up. You stopped tying your joy to approval. You stopped letting rejection define your rhythm. You stopped needing applause to keep going. You no longer live to prove. You live to be present. And that kind of shift doesn't happen overnight. It's forged in fire, in the shadows, in the places no one sees, but heaven never misses. You have endured storms that would have drowned others. You've carried grief with grace. You've made room for hope even when hope felt like a joke. That is not weakness. That is transformation. You thought growth would feel triumphant, but sometimes it just feels like surviving, like choosing to try again, like crying, then rising anyway. You are not emotionally numb anymore. You are healing. You are not cold. You've simply grown cautious with your heart. You are not jaded. You're learning what's real. And real growth, it happens when you realize you no longer flinch where you used to panic. You no longer spiral where you used to shatter. You no longer shrink to make others comfortable. That's growth. That's change. That's freedom being born in you. You've chosen peace over pride, silence over shouting, stillness over chaos. And no one may have clapped for that, but heaven did. And soon you'll begin to see what others will see too. You are not driven by old wounds anymore. You are led by something deeper, wholeness. Yes, the world may still be noisy. Yes, the past may still whisper. But now you know who you are in the quiet. That is identity. That is transformation. You've changed. Not perfectly, but powerfully. Not loudly, but permanently. And you will carry this quiet strength into every room, every relationship, every season ahead. Not to prove what you've survived, but to live fully in who you've become. Success is no longer a distant dream. It's drawing near, closer than you think. And you, though you may still carry questions and quiet fears, are ready. Not because you've done everything right, not because you're flawless, but because you've been formed in silence, in fire, in obedience, in tears. You didn't just stumble here, you were led here, step by step, layer by layer. The breakthrough ahead of you isn't random. It's not a lucky accident. It's the visible fruit of invisible faithfulness. The reward for every time you whispered yes when it hurt. For every time you showed up when quitting seemed easier. You've walked through years that didn't make sense. Seasons that felt like detours, disappointments, delays. But they were preparation disguised as stillness. You thought God was holding you back, but He was holding you together, strengthening your frame for the weight of what's to come. Because success, when it's real, doesn't just require skill, it requires depth. And now you have it. You no longer crave the spotlight. You no longer need applause to move. You've learned to walk quietly, humbly, deeply, and that's what makes you trustworthy now. God can entrust you with more because you've proven you won't trade your soul for it. You've learned what to let go of and what to hold tight. You've learned to wait without wasting, to serve without seeking attention, to believe even when the evidence said otherwise. That's not weakness. That's the mark of someone who is ready to carry legacy. And yes, there will be doors that swing open wide. Yes, there will be favor that doesn't make sense. Yes, there will be moments where you step into places you once only dreamed of. But you'll walk through them not to prove anything, but to fulfill everything. You no longer fear what's ahead, not because it's easy, but because you know who walks beside you. You're not entering a moment. You're stepping into alignment. And alignment brings acceleration. You're not striving anymore. You're flowing. You're not forcing anymore. You're following. And that's why what's ahead won't crush you. It will crown you. So lift your head. Don't downplay the moment. Don't question your worth. This isn't coincidence. This is the culmination of every hidden seed, every silent surrender, every moment you stayed when walking away would have been easier. Success isn't coming to rescue you. It's coming to confirm you. And when it comes, you won't feel overwhelmed. You'll feel at home. Because this time, you'll know I didn't chase this. I was prepared for this. And now it's mine to carry, with wisdom, with joy, and with grace. This is it, the season you've cried for, prayed for, waited for with hands trembling and heart hopeful. This is your season of restoration, your season of radiance, the season that heaven has whispered about in the silence of your waiting. You are no longer surviving, you are rising. No longer hiding, you are shining. You are stepping into what was promised, not as a wounded soul grasping for scraps, but as a restored one, healed, grounded, radiant. You are no longer the person who doubted if healing would ever come. Now you walk with quiet confidence, not because everything is perfect, but because you've been made whole in the unseen places, the places no one saw, the places God never stopped working in. Your scars haven't disappeared, but they've become sacred. What once caused pain now carries purpose. What once broke you now blesses others. You're no longer begging for your place at the table. You are the table. You are the safe place, the evidence, the light. Everything the enemy tried to steal, God is returning, not in pieces, but in fullness. What was taken in sorrow will return in joy. What was delayed will be delivered, right on time. The joy you feel now, it's not temporary. The peace that's settling over you, it's not fragile. This is not relief, it's resurrection. You will walk into rooms differently now, not needing to be seen, because you know you are known, not striving to be chosen, because you already are. You will carry grace in your voice, peace in your eyes, fire in your purpose, and the world will wonder, what happened to you? And you'll smile and whisper, restoration. I met God in the ruins, and He rebuilt me from the inside out. This is your harvest season. The seeds you sowed in tears are bursting through the soil with joy. The prayers you thought were forgotten are now becoming visible answers. The silence you feared was abandonment is being revealed as the stillness before glory. No, this isn't the end of your story. This is the beginning of the chapter that makes the rest make sense. So rise, walk in it, own it. You are not late, you are right on time. You are not behind, you were being prepared. You are not broken, you are becoming. This is your season, not because you finally earned it, but because you've been formed to carry it. And from this season forward, your life will echo a truth that cannot be shaken. I am restored, I am radiant, and I am ready.